Hi guys, right, my second Bansenshukai video. So far guys, what an excellent response, and I'm not overstating that. Oh my gosh, is there enough videos being done about this subject? Okay, a quick roundup. I put my video out, Krista put her video out, which sort of was the meaning of ninjutsu or ninja, and it was all going steadily, and then Chafin put his video up about running downhill and doing the raccoon dog hiding, and my gosh, rocked lots and lots of videos have come out. I've lost count. All I've got to say guys is make sure there's no point in making a video and not sending the link to Krista. It's got to be uploaded on YouTube and then send the link to Krista, because then Krista will put it in the playlist. I'm sure not everybody's sent, and I can't keep tracking the videos down and sending them to her. Okay, let's go through the meaning of ninjutsu. We all love it, the blade over the heart shinobi character, the famous character. But we have to remember that this is not the only way that they said shinobi. They did say shinobi in multiple ways, and sometimes it's being spelt phonetically. So what you've got to remember here guys is that the Japanese language is sometimes phonetical and sometimes it's just literal, like, you know, and it's got the meaning of the kanji. So what you have to realize is that the word shinobi predates probably the universal use of that kanji. So what I mean by that is, nowadays we all use blade over a heart. In the old days, they didn't always use that. Not at all. In fact, there was the other one, which is called seto, which is the thievery one. And that was used more, probably, I would say, in the earlier days. It's a bit difficult to judge that one, because the first use of shinobi comes from the taiheki, as in a military sort of operation. And we checked the oldest taiheki. Yoshie went off to the museum and stuff, and she checked the oldest taiheki we had, which had that chapter in, and that was about 1550, and that had the kanji shinobi. So probably, you know, the one we're talking about, probably the original in the 1300s did as well. So yes, you know, one of the earliest is that. But also the Gunpo Joshu totally just uses seto, which means, you know, it's pronounced shinobi. Most people think it's pronounced seto, but it's actually shinobi in this context. So, and that's the stealing one. So you've got to remember here, it's really difficult because it is the blade and the heart, and it is, but that means endurance. That's absolutely to endure. And we have to remember that actually out of all the scrolls, if I counted up all the times they said we use shinobi and it means this, most of them are about endurance and not about sneaking. So let's get that right. Even though it does mean sneaking, and in Chikamatsu Shigenori's, he talks about the use of the kanji, and he, in Iga and Koka skills, and he says that, what does he say now? He says that it's about secrecy. So that's about hidden elements and secrecy. But on the whole, most people talk about endurance. So it's the idea, and the Bansenshukai says that a blade, a heart, sorry, with like a blade of iron, or to be on the edge of a blade, to endure is the basic point. So yeah, that was all great. That was fun. Then what did we move on to? We moved on to raccoon dog hiding, with Mr. Chafin. Now, I was a little bit disappointed at the silliness that got involved with this. I can't believe people argued over such a minute point, and this is absolutely where I feel the Japanese get Japanese things wrong. I absolutely do. There is no doubt in my mind that the samurai of old did not fight the way the samurai of today do. This sort of idea where they all... Oh, it's like, yeah, no, that never happened in a million years. Kata and all that, and that captures the essence of a move for time. But when you come to reality, you have to break the kata away. If you fought in kata, you would die very quickly. So the point is, a kata is a mode or a method to transfer information across time without losing you know, the core principle. So you don't ever, so I find it ridiculous that people are arguing about whether you go down on one knee, go down on two knees, go down at the side, or, you know, your sword is down here. That's absolutely irrelevant, totally irrelevant. Is it a katachi? Is it a katana? It could be your finger or a spoon. It doesn't matter. The point is very simple, and it's put across in the Bansenshukai. The aim here is you're running away and you cannot escape. That you're not fast enough to break away. So what you do is you stop as quickly as possible in whichever way you can. They collide with you, and then when they collide, you then draw your sword from whichever angle you need to draw it from. You don't have, oh, my sword's pointing down, it's going to hit the ground, therefore I can't draw my sword. Lift up and draw, or you know, I'm lifted up, I can't move. It's ridiculous. The aim is run as fast as you can, flat out. Drop down to your knees, or drop down to one knee, or drop onto the side. Just simply crouch down without going to the knee. The reason I'm saying this, I'll say in a minute. Then the person behind will collide. You are not going to be in the same position. If you think the laws of physics do not apply to ninjutsu, you are wrong. So when you drop and you crouch on one knee, two knees, on your toes, that person is going to slam into the back of you, and you are not going to be in the same position that you were when the guy in armour is running at full tilt into you. You are going to be pushed over, and he hopefully will go over as well. And then the idea is, because you're a warrior and because you have legs and you're a human, you move into a position where you can draw a sword and cut them. Now, are you wearing armour? Are they wearing armour? That's debatable. Do you go on one knee, two knees? I know people say we stick exactly to the text, but there's some problems here. Remember that I found this in different places, and I found different skills in this, even variations on this for the person chasing, or even for the person in front. Natoryu itself has this, and it actually says Natoryu has the same skill. It's not named the same, but you're running, and what you do is you immediately turn backwards and ram pretty much your elbow. You just like turn on them. So you're running and you turn on them, bang, and they shot, and then you draw and kill. So the point here, guys, is like when Chafin was doing downhill, I'll admit, I think it would be easier to jump over Chafin's because he goes to the side. But agreed, downhill it's pretty difficult. So the question is this, is when you're running at full pelt and you drop down, whichever way you drop down, even just crouch or even just turn on them, the point is that they have to collide with you. If they dodge you, you've not done it right. So it doesn't matter what knee you're on, it doesn't matter where you turn, as long as you hit them. The point is hit them. But I can say this because I found it in multiple sources. You turn around, you hit them, you know, or they hit you. There's a collision, and we all know that in reality you're both going to stumble forward, you're going to be changing position, you might even be pushed to the side. You then adjust your sword and draw. I did find the discussion about where you draw your sword from a bit redundant and a bit base, to be honest, because people do draw from a sitting position. They're people, samurai are trained to draw from sitting, from kneeling, from all sorts of crazy positions because they've got to adjust and shift. So why would somebody who's just had someone collapse on them not know how to stand up and draw their sword quickly, which is what Iaido teaches. So I'm totally confused at why people are stuck on this point of the angle of the sword. You push them off, pull your sword out, draw it and kill them. There is no mysterious angle technique. You take your sword out and you kill them, whether it's tachi slung, katana slung, whatever. But I'd like to point out here, I actually went through my digital version of the Bansenshukai and I typed katana for find, and there's only one katana word in the Bansenshukai-ish. So actually the entire point about it being a tachi is redundant because the entirety of the Bansenshukai use the word tachi, probably meaning long sword. So and they just use the term long sword instead of katana or sword. Okay, so we've got that. We've got heart under the blade. We've got different versions for that. We've got the tanuki escape where you bang into someone, drop down someone, drop onto one knee, drop onto two knees, move to the side. Whatever you do, just collide with them. If they don't collide, you've got it wrong. That's the key of it. Then we moved on to the next point, which was Krista has now brought up the dangerous point is, does Fujibayashi, Natori, they all say you should move on with the times. Now, the problem with Krista's new video, it's not actually a problem, she's quite correct, but there is a problem with it. Quite correct. absolutely, and ninjas at the time did say move on, adapt, take the old ways, adapt them. I have gone through, I did 10 videos on this, principles versus skills, and I did like an entire series. It's about retaining the principle. So I agree with Krista 100% that yes, ninjas did move on, they did change, they did take the original skills and adapt to the times. Absolutely no problem with that. However, this has connotations where people now, if you agree with that wholeheartedly, people will then say, well, we've adapted it, and then they will change ninjutsu. That's a problem. From what we are doing, which is historical research, you can say that the ninja adapted. They absolutely adapted until the year 1868 and thereabouts. After this, any adapting stopped. It absolutely stopped. Yep, without a doubt. So yes, shinobi did adapt. Yes, they did move on and change their skills, but it stopped at 1868. Bang. And then it became a living tradition. From that year on, any ninjas still practicing ninjutsu who were out of jobs, the samurai had been abolished by like the 1870s, 1880s. Absolutely, samurai were gone. You know, the last remnants were sort of gone. We're into a modern era. Ninja are not hired. It's without doubt that the ninja then stopped and did not advance. No two ways about it. The reason that I am correct on this is because if they did, they are now called the equivalent of the CIA, MI5, SAS. That's what continued and developed. The ninjas did not move on into the modern Japanese special forces at all. They didn't adapt from the ancient ways to them. So you cannot say, so I agree with Krista, they did adapt, absolutely, but they stopped adapting in 1868. That's why all these, I'm going to say so-called ninja schools and all this, that's where they use black jackets, karate jackets, for God's sake. Not having got you, by the way, Krista, I'm talking about everyone in the world here. Everyone in the world does the unholy trio. I call it the unholy trio. Mask, kuji, black karate jacket. Pff, right, okay, ninjas. So my point being that is if it did continue to adapt from, and it was a continuous lineage, let's just say School X was a continuous lineage, and they adapted, they would not be wearing anything Japanese, they would not be dealing with anything ancient, it would all be things like listening devices in walls, breaking and entry tools for modern PVC windows. So this idea, we've got to be careful here that we don't go on the ninjutsu said should be adapted, therefore we do martial arts. No. Or ninjutsu adapts, therefore we can make anything up. That is not true, guys. So Bansenshukai wise, Shoninki wise, they say adapt, but historically they stopped adapting when the abolishment of the samurai came. Boom! That's the end of it. Because we know they didn't adapt anymore because they died out. And if they didn't die out, they became living traditions within parts of samurai schools like Muboshi Ryu and Katori Shinto Ryu and people like that. And that's it. That's why we have to put a stopper there on that. Krista, you are correct. But we have the wall of 1868, which no one can get over because otherwise why are we all wearing these gis, kimonos and things like that? Because we're all stuck there in samurai time, so we didn't move on from that point. Okay, that's the end of me. What's next, guys? Let's get another video. Come on, Chafin, you started all this video off and it was excellent, so do another video, Chafin, and let's get another one going. Right, guys, I'll see you later.